Ukrainian children say they were taken against their will by Russian forces and placed up for adoption in Russia, where the process has been expedited.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ukrainian officials said thousands of children were taken by Russian forces from occupied areas of Ukraine and forcibly deported to Russian-occupied territories or Russia itself, where adoption of the children has been fast-tracked. Anya is just one example among recent reports on Russia's efforts to adopt Ukrainian children and raise them as Russian. Ukrainian officials as early as April said Russian forces were forcibly deporting kids and fast-tracking adoptions. U.S. officials in September said Russian authorities had overseen the deportation of thousands of Ukrainian children to Russia, adding the efforts specifically include the forced adoption of Ukrainian children into Russian families, and the so-called patriotic education of Ukrainian children. U.S. officials also said the efforts involved legislation aimed at expediting the process of granting Russian citizenship to Ukrainian kids and the deliberate removal of Ukrainian children by Russia's forces. Russia has not given a number for how many Ukrainian children have been brought over, but frequently broadcasts the arrival of kids described as Ukrainian orphans, according to an Associated Press investigation. Still, even when kids are parentless, the action of removing children could signify an attempt at genocide, or a desire to wipe out Ukrainian culture and identity, the outlet reported.
This post received a score of 19,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It is genocide in accordance with Article 2, Section E of the UN Convention on Genocide, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group.
And yes, targeting just a nationality qualifies.
Good for you to remind everyone what genocide usually entails. I don't know why people keep opposing the term genocide being used against a nation or a religion.
The only time American kids are taught about genocide is in reference to the Holocaust. It's easy to get it too specific, in this case, to killing only and race only, when you only have one instance of genocide you're alerted to, edit, by the name, genocide. Edit. It seems like this is thankfully changing. Thank you, Scooter Scottward.
Rwanda was also genocide. We learn about that in Canada.
And, closer to home, we learn about the residential schools and our own horrible genocide against the First Nations. It's required to take the kids to the local residential school and learn about what our country did so that we don't repeat the mistake ever again.
Greater than we learn about the residential schools and our own horrible genocide against the First Nations. Not if Danielle Smith has anything to say about it. And no, she was not voted in. Kenny stepped down as UCP leader, and the party chose her as the new leader. She is not a representation of Alberta. She is not an elected official.
It's hard to fathom how truly sick and twisted someone would have to be to do something like this. Anyone that supports this is disgusting beyond belief.
This is some Hitler-Nazi level shit.
It terrifies me what we don't know and will only truly discover once it is over. And when they grow up, they'll be taken against their will by Russian forces and placed in the Russian army, where they will be forced to commit acts of terrorism against other nations.
If Russia even lasts that long, because Jesus.
Classic genocide.
Fuck Putin. Fucking coward bunker boy.
The Germans did this with children in the occupied East in WW2. Kidnapping of children by Nazi Germany, Wikipedia. As of July 22, over 1.6 million Ukrainians have been forcibly deported to Russia. Statement from U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Source.
Genocide.
Completely literally. Attacking a nationality, and forcibly removing children from the group.
So human trafficking children.
Worse. Literally genocide, by its actual definition, targeting members of a nationality, and forcibly transferring children out.
That little girl's face is heartbreaking.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.